Hey y'all, what's up? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and we're here today to talk about the new up-and-coming tournament, the Desert Open. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each of the holes that we will see on this tournament. And I will give you ball guide, club guide, and my recommended routes. The Oasis is always been a 4-hole course that's kind of been used here and there in the tournaments. But Playdemic has created 5 new holes for the Oasis and revamped some of the old ones to create its very own 9-hole course, and that's what we will be using here in the Desert Open tournament today. Before we get started, I do want to send a special shout out and thank you to Chelsea Clark, and Chelsea Clark is the wife of Daniel McStutes, and who is one of our 19th hole members. Daniel reached out to me last week and asked if his wife could do a piece of art for the community page, and I said sure, let's see what she got, and this is what she sent me. Definitely did not disappoint. Can't wait to receive this in the mail so that I can put it in a frame. So cool to receive stuff like this from the members of the 19th hole. Definitely humbling when people take time out of their day to do things for you like this. So thank you once again, Miss Chelsea, and thank you again, Daniel, as well, for being part of our community. So anyways, we got the Desert Open tournament. Starts on Monday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be qualifying, and if you are able to qualify one of those 3 days, you do move on to the opening round, which takes place on Thursday and Friday. If you're in the top 50% of your bracket there, you do move on to the weekend round, which takes place on Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully you are able to do well there and can get some of the prizes, and those prizes do scale depending on how you finish in the tournament. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on to hole number 1. Hole number 1 is one of the classic holes of the tournament, and it is a par 5. Both rookie and pro are going to play this hole about the same way. For ball selections, I would say on the rookie, Quasar or Titan, and on the pro, we're probably looking at a Kingmaker ball. You're gonna kind of get used to hearing me say Kingmaker for the pro. The higher you go, it's always better to bring better balls with you. For the clubs in the rookie, I would say Extra Mile or a Thor, if you have it. And then for the wood clubs in the rookie, you're looking at your Big Dog, Viper, or even a Sniper if you have it leveled up a little bit. In the pro, I would say quarterback, Extra Mile, or Thor is possible. I think I used a quarterback last time we had this hole, the whole tournament, and that really is just going to depend on the type of winds we get. If we get a decent tailwind, the quarterback is definitely possible, especially if you're going to the left. It's always good to have extra accuracy in your club for that left shot. I know a lot of people like to go right because they're scared to go left, but that left shot does set you up best for that chance in an albatross. If you do decide to go left in the pro, I would not suggest using a total ton of topspin, because you do want to make sure you don't end up in the rough right here. But your drive is pretty much going to go up the fairway, landing somewhere in here, hopping over and rolling out into this zone. I would recommend a couple 2 to 3 bars of left side spin, just in case you do hit great right. That left side spin will save you from going into the rough. Trust me, I know it saved me last tournament several different times. If you are in the rookie, you don't have to worry quite as much about going over into the rough for the sand as you do in the pro. You won't have as much tailwind, and unless you have really strong clubs in the rookie, then that may be a different story. But if you have lower level clubs, you probably won't have to worry as much about going into the rough. So keep that in mind when you're playing this hole. If you do want to have, end up having the headwind, going to the right side is probably your best option. But keep in mind, going to that right side, it's probably turning into more of just an eagle hole for you, and you aren't going to really have the ability to, your chances of getting the albatross are really low. going that way. And if you do want to go to the right, you will want to hit your drive with some right curl and right side spin. You don't want to use too much top spin because you don't want to end up in the rough or anything like that. So, 1 or 2 bars top spin probably be okay, but don't overdo it on the top spin for this hole. When you are taking your second shot in, you do want to land it right there and kind of go right over the edge of that rough. With a sniper, I like 3 to 4 bars of backspin and then line the shot up with the hole. Now on my my hole preview that I did post on the forum on my YouTube, I did just go straight with the wind guide. It was 3.5 miles per hour of wind, and I went 3.5 bars and did hit the albatross. But I do recall last tournament we were playing about an extra bar in wind adjustment just because of going over the water and stuff. So keep that in mind. If you start seeing your shot missing by about a bar, you might want to add a little bit extra for the wind adjustment on that one. Alright, hole number 2 we have here. And this is hole number 2, and this is going to be a par 4. And this is one of the new holes here on the course. For the rookies, I would suggest either Quasar or Titan ball, and for the pro, probably at least a Kingmaker. For the rookies, I would say Extra Mile as your driver, Big Dog as your wood, and for the pro, Extra Mile or Thor. And for your wood, Guardian, Big Dog, or even Sniper, if you do have it leveled up quite nicely. Okay, I would say at least like anywhere from the 8 to 10, probably 9 to 10 mark. I think 9 is when it gets a little bit extra distance and power. So 9, 10. If you are going to go to the left side, I would suggest jumping it right here and rolling it over into this section of the fairway. You can use a small amount of right spin on that shot, but you won't need any top spin on that shot unless you're hitting into a headwind, which is most likely not going to be the case in the rookie or the pro. So that shot right there requires, no top spin. You just want to put yourself to the edge of that fairway. Make sure you don't go too far into the rough that way. If you do want to go to the right side, which is a good shot to take with a tailwind, you are probably going to be bouncing your ball in front of that bunker. Some people may be able to fly the bunker, but you do want to end up in this zone right there. Do keep in mind that left side of that fairway does kind of slope a little bit to the rough, so you do want to start your ball off, over in this zone here and run it towards the middle. Okay, keep that in mind when setting up your shot. Let's see here. If you are going to go to the right side, you do want to make sure probably to use a power ball for that, because you are going to want a power ball for your second shot most likely. It is kind of risky to go to the right, but in my opinion, if you can get your drive down to the right side and get it to that circle area, your second shot at the green is going to be much easier, and set yourself up for that that birdie, or even a possible eagle. But this is most likely going to be one of those birdie holes. You just want to make sure you do get the birdie on this hole. There is one other possible shot that I'm going to go ahead and mention. It is a very risky shot, so most likely not something that anybody is going to be using, definitely in the rookie, but maybe in the pro. Off the tee box, if you do want to curl a shot like right here, you'll be hopping right there to the edge and trying to roll it up into this zone right here. If you figure that shot out and can get it on a consistent basis, it can really set you up for an easy second shot to the green. But I'm just putting that out there. I do like to try to show you all the routes that I can think of, and that's definitely a possibility. Keep in mind also that this shot on the left-hand side, for the rookie, I would make sure to get the ball up near the green. I think this is a fairly flat green, unlike some of the other greens, so even if you get short of it and chip, you should still be able to chip it in. but you know, maybe 1 or 2 bars of topspin for lower level rookies with that big dog will be okay. Do make sure that you do stay away from that bunker that does guard the green right there, okay, for that shot. Alright, moving on. Hole number 3, this is another one of our classic holes, and I did do a guide video on this on my YouTube channel, so check that out if you haven't done so yet. Hole 3, and it is par 3. First things first, I have taken out the rough bump by leaning that tree over a little bit farther to the left. You still can take a shot over the edge of that tree trunk, landing in this zone right here, but it's definitely a much riskier shot now, not one that I would suggest. Your shot is mainly going to be the shot we've used in the past, where you land it right here and you spin it onto the green towards the hole that way. You also have the shot here where you bounce it off that island. In my opinion, still a much riskier shot than going to the right. For rookies, I would recommend Quasar probably, and in the pro, a Titan. As far as clubs go for the rookie, you're looking at a Backbone or a Saturn. You do want to make sure you have a club with a good amount of left side spin and a ball with side spin as well. For the rookies, I would go from go somewhere between 0 topspin to 1 topspin, and you got to make sure you use that left curl and that left spin on that shot. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. You will be in the rough up behind the hole. Definitely a hole where you cannot mess up. You got to hit that perfect shot, which is, I think, one of the reasons why a lot of people do like the Backbone, because it has a lot of that accuracy. I like the Saturn personally because it's easier to aim with the ball guide. I know it's 2 miles per hour per wind, so it's easy to adjust. In the pro, you're probably going to be looking at a shot with club with a little bit extra distance, so probably like a Goliath club would be good for that shot. And instead of topspin, I would at least use 1, maybe even 2 bars of backspin for the shot in the pro level. Alright, so moving on to our next hole, hole number 4. And this is a par 4. And just another classic hole. Ball-wise, Quasar, Titan in the rookie, and Kingmaker for the pro. Driver-wise in the rookie, Extra Mile. In the pro, Extra Mile, Thor. One of those 2 clubs. I'm going to assume that we will probably have, we're probably going to have tailwinds pretty much the whole time for the rookie and the pro on this hole. And so, with our drive, I would say at least 3 to 4 topspin for the rookie. And maybe a little bit more for the pro because the tee is going to be back a little bit farther. I do like to land my ball somewhere in this zone right here and then hop over. You do want to make sure you don't overdo the topspin because you don't want to roll off the edge into the rough area right there. So that's why I always go like 3 or 4 topspin, especially on the first tee, and then kind of got to play it by ear on the second tee. See what kind of wind we get. If you get more of a side wind or a kind of a headwind, definitely have to go more topspin on the shot. Now from the second shot, you're looking for the rough bump right here. If you go with the rough bump, you're looking at 1-2 bars of backspin. I would suggest to be careful with the aim on that shot though. You are shooting downhill, and you are most likely going to be adjusting into the bunker, which kind of throws off the adjustment a little bit. So be very careful that you don't over adjust that shot or under adjust that shot and land in the bunker or hit the green and bounce over the green, possibly into the water. I like taking the skip shot from right here and then over. I like to aim the edge of my ball guide right into the middle of that rough with at least 3 bars of topspin and left spin and about a ball of left curl on the shot. I like taking that shot with the sniper or the Viper in the rookie. You could also use a big dog if you want. And in the pro, go with the sniper or guardian on that shot. Let's see here. You know, you got to always make sure you are factoring in for the wind on this shot because it is a hole that is completely surrounded by water. So, you know, make sure to factor in the wind as well when adjusting for your shot. Alright, next hole. Here we go. Par 3, hole 5, par 3. It's been a while since we've seen this one in the tournament. And I know that the popular shot on this hole is the rough bump right here to the hole. You know, if you're trying to go for the ace, that's probably the best way to get the ace, but it's also the best way to get yourself in trouble if you do miscalculate the shot, end up through the green or short in the rough. It can go from an easy birdie to a par. Definitely not something that you want to happen to you on this hole. For the rookie, I would say Navigator or Quasar ball. For the pro, we're looking at Kingmaker or even a level 5 rain resistance ball if you have them to spare. I like using the Backbone or the Saturn for the rookie. And what I like to do is I like to take my shot to about right here, and I'm going to use full left spin and full left curl, and probably 3 to 5 bars of backspin. You're going to have to judge how much of that to use depending on the wind. Because what you're really wanting to do is you're wanting to take your shot like this, hit, bounce here, and roll towards the hole that way. That's kind of the general idea behind that shot right there. Another attempt at thing you can do is if you want to aim your shot about right in here, you can put on topspin. You want just enough topspin for your ball to land in the rough right here on the edge and then roll towards the hole. And that amount of topspin will vary as well. Kind of play that one by ear and kind of feel that one out. But those are the different routes and options for hole number 5, and you basically gonna play it the same way on in the pro as well. So now we got hole number 6, and this is a par 5, and this is a brand new hole for sure. I would recommend Quasar or Titan in the rookie, and a Titan or Kingmaker in the pro. For your clubs in the rookie, you're going to be using probably Extra Mile because that does have the topspin you need, and a big dog because you do want to make sure to get that second shot to the green. For the pro, Extra Mile, Thor, both clubs with a good amount of topspin, and for your wood club, Big Dog, Cataclysm. You know, you could experiment with your Guardian and your Sniper if you have those leveled up quite well, pretty good as well. So for the drive, you're pretty much looking at a drive like this. You're trying to bounce. You're trying to bounce right here, get that second bop about right there, and then hop over into the fairway that way. Some people will be able to hop over the bunker and bounce there and then over to the second, third fairway. But most people will be using that first fairway and going with kind of a triple bounce. That's why you do need to use your driver with probably 4 to 5 bars of topspin, which is why the Extra Mile will probably be the club of choice here on that hole. From this spot right here, your second shot will be to the green. I would suggest that you make sure you do not leave it short. The slope on that green is tough to chip to. Ball guides are going to lie to you all day long on that green with that slope. So what I would suggest doing is trying to get your shot through the green and down into this zone somewhere right here, either on the green or just off the green to the back right edge. From there you will have an easy chip. Maybe possibly going for the dunk is going to be a higher percentage shot on this green, just because of the slope that you will encounter on the green. You can also go to the right side on this hole. What you're going to be doing is landing it in here and trying to get it up into this zone right here. From there you will have a shot to the maybe to the green, but most likely to the fringe of the green, and from that location right there you'll have a pretty decent chip as well. Still a little bit of a slope, but definitely a little bit easier of a chip. Instead of shooting at a downhill slope, you're going to be shooting at an uphill slope. So it's always better to be shooting at an uphill location. So let's see, I would suggest if you're going right, you want at least 4 to 6 bars of topspin. And on your second shot, you're going to use your backspin as needed on the shot, maybe 2 bars or so of backspin. I would warn you to make sure to stay away from the edges, as they seem to kind of slope towards each other. So try to maintain your ball to the mid part of the fairway as best as possible. There is a chance at possibly doing some sort of a power hook shot here. I'm going to mess around with that a little bit and see if it's worth the risk, and if we can get it to happen on a consistent basis. If it's not a consistent shot, it's definitely not worth the risk of taking it every time. So keep your eyes open for a video on that in the future. If you don't see one, then I probably means I decided that I didn't think it was a very consistent shot. Alright. Next hole is going to be hole number 7. And par 3. And this is a new par 3. For the rookies, I would say Quasar Navigator. For the pros, Kingmaker or Power 5 ball. Power 5 wind resistance ball. Club-wise, rookies are going to be using their wood, and going to probably be jumping it somewhere in this zone right here. And you're going to use about 3 to 5 bars of backspin, combined with a little bit of side spin to straighten your ball path out towards the hole. And the pro are going to be doing sort of the same thing, but the pros will probably have a possibility at a rough bump, which will be right about in this zone right here. Possibly quarterback or maybe a rock would be a good option. You do want something that's accurate with a good ball guide. You also have the chance of using your sniper probably as well. The rough bump will probably consist of some topspin or backspin, either around one back or one top, but somewhere in between those two. I wouldn't say anything more or anything less, but that's what you're going to be doing for the rough bump on that shot right there. And depending on what kind of wind we get, it might be a possibility for the rookies to also try for the rough bump, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. You do want to make sure, if you're in the rookie division, to bring one of your woods that does have a good amount of distance and backspin with it. Okay. So for a lot of you all, that's most likely going to be the probably the big dog or maybe the Viper. I don't know. All right, hole number 8. And hole number 8 is a par 4. For the rookies, Quasar Titan. For the pros, Titan or Kingmaker. Club-wise, for the rookies, Extra Mile or Quarterback, Backbone Saturn. And for the pros, I'd say Extra Mile or Thor, Backbone, possibly B52, depending on how you have it leveled, would be an option. I don't think the idea of this hole is to see how far you can get. It's to see how accurate you can be. Off the tee box, you want to, be in this zone right about in here. If you want to go to the right, you jump right here, up in here, somewhere there. If you go to the right side, you will leave yourself an easier second shot to the green, but it's definitely going to be a little riskier to go to the right. If you go to the left, you're either going to be looking at a long iron backspin shot with a thorn, or a rough bump. That is also going to be a possibility. So key things to remember: control your drive on this hole. Do not mess up and go into the rough. Longer is not better. Controlled is the proper shot. Okay. So that hole is pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot else to say on that hole. Either go to the left, set yourself up for the rough bump or a thorn backspin shot, or you're going to go right. A little bit riskier, but a better chance of setting yourself up for a makeable eagle chip, most likely, in my opinion. And last but not least, we come to hole number 9, which may be the toughest hole in the tournament, and it's a par 5. I don't know what's going on there. There we go, par 5. For the rookies, Titan ball most likely is going to be needed, and for the pro, probably Kingmaker. Pretty much everybody's play is going to be this one right here. Okay. The farther you can get up into this little area, the better. But the farther you go up, the riskier that rough comes into play. So you just kind of decide how sure are you of your skill to put the ball in a little tight area. If you are playing from the rookie tees, you're probably going to be using about 2 to 3 bars of topspin plus right spin. I recommend don't overplay your topspin, because you will end up in the rough over here. Don't want that to happen. If you're playing your drive from the pro tees, you're probably going to be looking at 4 to 5 bars of topspin, and you do want to use right spin as well, about mid to max, somewhere in there, depending on how tight you want to play the shot. These adjustments on spin, really up to you in the end. The higher you go, the more you increase them, the better chances you have to put yourself in a better spot, but also the better chance you have to mess up and go into the rough. So think about that when you are deciding how you're going to play it. Another way to play it is a little bit riskier. If you try to land it in the fairway right there, bounce it over to this fairway, that's definitely a shot. From there, that will give you a straight on shot either to there, or I've even seen some people with the chance to go straight to that rough and bump it up towards the hole. That's a possibility. If you do decide to go, you're going to need to use a good amount of curl and left spin for that second shot. From our position over, clear this board here, from our position over here, the second shot to the green, in the rookie, most likely you're going to be laying up your shot to right here, trying to set yourself up for a little bit of a chip to the hole. I would suggest making sure, if you're going to go for it, probably going to need a club with a lot of curl. You're going to have to use a lot of curl and a lot of side spin on that shot. Definitely a risky shot to take, but it could have a big payoff. Chipping from over here as opposed to chipping from either on the fringe or in the rough right here, maybe even the bunker. You got to decide what you're more comfortable with when you are figuring out how you want to play that shot. I personally, right now, plan on laying up and then trying for the chip. But by the weekend or the opening round, that could change. Things have changed as you play the course and get more comfortable with taking the shots. So in the end, it just comes down to comfortableness and how comfortable you are taking the shots and the risks. Does the risk outweigh the rewards, or does the risk, pose other risks that may hurt your score far more than it will help it? So, anyways, that's pretty much going to be the whole guide for right now. I do plan on doing a win guide sometime Monday, possibly into Tuesday at some point, and if I do notice anything different that I want to change as far as what I've said so far today, I will definitely put updates on that video. So for now, I would just like to say thank you all for taking the time to watch this guide, and good luck in the practice, and good luck on your opening round on Monday. Y'all have a good day. God bless.